Good morning, folks. Fuck, I could tell my birthday was over. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and we're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we do, we got more stupid to talk about. So you remember how I went on that rant yesterday, right? People being obsessed with celebrity relationships, whether they do in actuality exist in normal life or not. Here the fuck we go again. I really gotta stop looking at my Twitter feed before 5 a.m. Because you all get, neurotypical society, you all get stupid in the early hours of the morning. You all get real stupid. For fuck's sake. And I say this not just on JD's behalf, but in celebrities in general. For the love of God, people, find lives. Get a hobby. Read a book. Get a job. Go for a walk. Go hiking. Fucking something. Take up crochet or knitting. Quit feeling like you have the right to know absolutely everything about some stranger's life. Someone being a part out there in public does not mean you're entitled to the smallest details of their existence. You know what you're entitled to? When they produced movies or music. That's it. That's all you're entitled to. News about said projects. You're entitled to that. You're not entitled to know about their personal relationships. It is creepy as hell. You say we autistics aren't normal? At least I'm not obsessing about celebrity lives. Their projects, sure. Especially when it's Marvel. Especially when it's Marvel. Do I care what any of the actors in the MCUs do with their personal lives? No. Not even a little bit. Not at all. Because it's not my business. Okay? Why is this a difficult concept? Why do I gotta keep seeing this shit every time I turn on Twitter? There is a reason I wanted to retreat back to nerd and disability Twitter after the JD versus AH case, and it's because of this shit. We don't do that. We talk about nerdy stuff, we share drawings, we share music, we share all that cool stuff. We share maybe if we got a new poster or go to a concert. Every once in a while, we might share a personal pic every so often. But we don't do this shit. See, even my kitty doesn't get it. I guess I'm going to have to just start blocking people. I hate to do that to folks who are on our own side, but Jesus Christ, people, this is creepy as hell. And it's been creepy as hell since the 90s when this shit first started. Okay? Y'all are acting like a bunch of creepy ass stalkers. Alright? It's not cute. It's not entertainment. It's just creepy. You want to know why the paparazzi dig so deeply into celebrity personal lives? It's because you all keep feeding them. As long as you keep creating more buzz around this shit, people are going to get more and more invasive with celebrities. Would you want a camera on you all the time in your most personal moments, right 3 inches from your face? No, of course you wouldn't. You're not entitled to their personal lives. Okay? Jesus. God, I look forward to the day where I can just go back to my disability and nerd Twitter. Y'all got issues. Alright? Moving on. In the description box, folks, you're going to read the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It is written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's quote-unquote behavioral modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much they have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they do not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic has refused to comply. So, folks, please read that article and share it on all your social media. We also have linked in there the public statement in regards to the defamation lawsuit threat from NeuroClastic, as well as a link to their GoFundMe, because we are crowdfunding, folks. They're a small non-for-profit. They only bring in $10,000 a year, so we are crowdfunding in case the JRC actually has the balls to see through with their threat. JRC, fucking try us. We can get real good at crowdfunding. You're not pushing us around anymore. Alright, folks, we also got the pertinent links to the Agape boarding school situation. Agape boarding school is a Christian-themed boarding school based out of Stockton, Missouri that takes in so-called troubled male teens that has impending over 21 substantiated allegations, claims, and yes, civil lawsuits. These were substantiated by private investigations done by the Missouri Department of Social Services. You have one staff member that was arrested by the FBI, another a doctor who's still on the premises with full access to the boys, upon multiple substantiated by the investigations done by the Department of Social Services counts of sodomy, rape, and sexual assault against the boys there. You've got someone who just jumped into the Senate seat who has lied and left high and dry the survivors and the boys that are still there, which would be Eric Schmidt. Don't believe a damn word he says. He's only out for himself like the rest of them. And yeah, my state's run by the fucking clown circus, so please, folks, get me the fuck out of here. For the love of God, send help. I can't emphasize that enough. Send help. Send help. Alright, so please share all those links on your social media, folks, and also don't forget to sign and share the ever-present change.org Shut Agape Boarding School Down petition. Got the pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign as well, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive, which I like to call over 40 years of receipts. We have the link to Jennifer Masumba's behavioral sheet to show you the lie that they do not just shock them when they are going to indulge in self-injurious behavior. We have a small clip from the 7-hour ordeal gone down in 2002 by poor Andre McCollins, who, due to refusing to remove his coat, was slammed and tied to a 4-point board and shocked over 31 times after a 7-hour period. We also have linked there the templates and the ever-present self-explanatory change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. When we discuss the JRC, folks, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please use your headphones. Trigger warning, we are reading Matthew Israel's own words. We're going to be, once again, descending into the rantings of a deluded and delusional mind. You're going to hear ableism. You're going to hear gaslighting. You're going to hear hatred, bigotry, victim blaming. The list goes on. So just know that's going to be there. This channel is marked not for children for a reason. We use profanity and obviously talk about some dark, heavy subjects. If your child is 16 or younger and they are watching this channel, parental advisory suggested, okay? It is 4:11 a.m. in the morning, folks. I'm not even remotely awake, and I'm just baffled at this insanity that is the newsreel this morning on my TL. So if I stumble over my words, folks, apologies in advance, all right? Now let me get me some of this here. This is Science Medicine plus tea. So, yeah, I have to drink it. Better. All right, so where we left off yesterday. JRC serves what is probably the highest density of individuals with difficult to treat behaviors problems in the country. Lie! That would be a lie. We got a lie right off the bat. But these are difficult to treat. Why are they difficult to treat, doctor? No, because I want to delve into this here. One of the labels that these folks in ABA like to label on us are difficult children. This is also the term that is used as a means and a way to create the whole multi-billion-dollar teen industry where we are seeing rampant abuse that is going on throughout our country right now. They like to use these terms because they like to lull society as a whole into this is what has to be done to get these people under control. Let's put it this way. Places like the JRC like to swoop in when regular ABA fails. And then they're going to tell you they've tried everything else. Psychiatric hospitals, ABA, nothing works. It's bullshit and it's bad for you. As George Carlin would like to say. God, I miss that guy. Another subject entirely, but you get my point, right? They haven't tried everything. The other treatment programs that are out there, they dismiss. That's the truth. There are many other options out there. Trying ABA in psychiatric hospitals is not trying everything. Okay? It's bullshit, folks. There are many different programs out there that work towards whatever the particular issues are that need to be handled. That doesn't make us difficult to treat. We emphasize the approach that you cater treatment to the individual, not the diagnosis. And the reason behind that is because said disability affects each person who has it differently. It is different as night and day depending on the person, social economic factors, their backgrounds, what they came up out of, all of that factors in, right? If we do treatment like that, if we stop the cookie cutter bullshit and center the treatment around one particular individual that you are treating, not their diagnosis, but the individual as a whole, becomes a lot less difficult to treat, doesn't it? Because then you are focusing on the particular issues of that particular individual. Now, places like JRC are going to tell you they focus on the individual, that they do individualize it. This is their version of individualizing it. The shockable offenses may be different on each behavioral sheet, but they still use the same overall treatment across the board, even for disabilities and mental health issues that are entirely different from one another. That's not individualization treatment. Okay? When you do the treatment for an individual, it's through back and forth. It's a slow process. It's not an easy process, but it gets the job done, because then you can get to the triggering issues, what sets off the behaviors for that one particular individual. It also allows you to not just focus on all the issues with a particular disability. It also allows you to help see what the strengths are and how to build on them. What a concept, right? Well-rounded treatment. And it exists and it works, because that's what my treatment has been. Right? Right? You all think my high school was going to send my ass to college? Nah. That was my circle of support that helped me figure out what I needed to do to get it done. Just saying. But places like the JRC, they don't want you to know that. They want you deeply embedded in the typical medical model. They don't want you to try everything. So they will use dismissive language, call them philosophies for fuck's sake. They won't give you the real numbers or the real data about the successes of these other types of programs. And they'll give you a low number. It only helps this much %. No shit, Sherlock. There is no one size fits all in medical treatment. Can I say that for the morons in the back? There is no one size fits all for medical treatment. Period. There isn't even a one size fits all treatment for autism across the board. It doesn't exist, because every individual is different, and how their disability or mental health issues affect them is different. Hello. JRC saves children and young adults from crippling disabilities, permanent injuries, and even death caused by their treatment-resistant, life-threatening behavior disorders. Can you get more ableist, doctor? Crippling disabilities. See, doctor, my disability doesn't cripple me. You want to know what does? You fucking people. You people cripple me. When you deny me reasonable accommodations, when you deny me whatever accommodations need to be made in a particular situation, when you refuse to acknowledge the fact that this world is a doubly difficult for me than it is for you, because I live in a world not fucking built for me, which makes even my phone job, from home no less, extremely difficult. That's what's crippling. Okay? That's what's crippling. My neurology, how my mind works, I'm fine. In fact, there's a famous quote from a few decades ago that says, you want to know how you cure autism? Put your child in a room and close the door. Right? What does that mean? That means if there's not someone there to pick, prod, and basically constantly shout out ad nauseum all our faults, guess what? If you take away all the stimuli that brings out the features that makes other people uncomfortable, and what brings out that features that you all want to harp on so much. Again, we are put in a world not built for us, with a society that refuses to acknowledge our inherent dignity as autistic human beings and continues to insist we have to act like, walk like, talk like, think like them, move like them, dress like them. It's ridiculous. Okay? That's what's crippling. That's what's exhausting. That was what causes trauma laid on top of trauma for decades. All right. Permanent injuries. Again, what causes that? What causes this self-injurious behavior? We already live in a frustrating world. Hypersensory going on in the outside world all the time. Loud cars, white noise. Hell, even the dog scrambling across the ceiling when it's like 12 a.m. is not very pleasant. I love doggies. I understand I don't get too set on a logical level, but it does affect me because hypersensitive hearing. Okay? Now, use a world that is already frustrating as fuck for us. And then force ABA on us. Force this idea that we cannot even do so much as self-soothe because it makes other people uncomfortable. That we must cater to change every single thing about ourselves to make people around us more comfortable being in our presence. Put that on top of it. Then put on the top of it people who like to use us as experimental fucking guinea pigs. Like to throw medicine at us. Because I've been in one of those situations until I got fed up by the time I hit middle school, and then I started forcing give and take. Put on top of that parents who don't know what to do because all the doctors tell them once their child gets the label of autism is to put them in ABA. And you wonder why we snap? You wonder where the self-injurious behaviors come from? It's not that difficult to figure out why if you think on it, is it? No, I didn't think so. Even death caused by their treatment-resistant life-threatening behavior disorders. Matthew Israel and JRC love to use this line because they like to use it as an excuse, as a reason to be able to experiment on us like he's Joseph fucking Mengele in the 21st century. Okay? Here's the truth, folks. A good majority of the students that are on that shock device have not, in any fucking way, done something that would end in their death. Okay? I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm not saying those situations don't exist. I've been in homes with parents with bars on the window, okay? I know. Okay? I'm telling you, that is not the majority of the case like Matthew Israel wants you to believe. Okay? Number 2, if they're already engaging in life-threatening behaviors, why in the fuck do you want to hurt them more? Isn't the whole idea that they're hurting themselves and you want them to stop? How does hurting them more help? This is completely illogical. If we traumatize Sam enough, what, you'll make me more suicidal? I'm sorry, but no, it doesn't make sense. Not to anyone. Literally not to anyone. Before coming to JRC, many students were confined for years to psychiatric facilities or were living on the streets suffering from the physical, mental, emotional pain caused by their untreatable self-mutilation, aggression, destruction, and other harmful behaviors. My God, shut up! How many times are you guys going to repeat the same tired bullshit? Again, this is not the majority of the students there. It's not the majority of the people on the device, no matter what Dr. Israel tries to tell you. It's a lie. It's a lie. Also tell me, why do psychiatric facilities fail? Because if all you're doing is throwing medicine at the problem, it's never going to fucking work. I'm not a guinea pig. I'm a human being, whether ABA recognizes me one or not. Throwing pills at the situation is never going to work. Now, that does not mean throw out the baby with the bathwater. When you pair proper medication with proper therapies, speech development, all that good stuff, or some other form of communication, when you pair it all together as a cohesive unit in treatment plan, wonders can happen. Okay? Please stop with the bullshit. They didn't work. Why wouldn't they work, Tiffany? Because they're treating them with the same tired bullshit. It didn't work on me. It's not going to work on anybody else. Because you're trying to treat us for a disorder we do not have. That's what ABA is. That is one of the biggest things I need you to realize about it. This is a treatment not built with us in mind as we are. Autism is not a mental health disorder. It is not a behavioral disorder. It's a neurodevelopmental disorder or disability or whatever term you would like to use. I'm still kind of stuck in the old talk. I'm sorry about that for the fellow autistics and ADHDers who come by this channel. It's just how we termed it when I worked for the state, and it's stuck. Places like this, throwing pills at the problem, throwing us in behavioral psychology, it's never going to work. Okay? Because it's not a behavioral disorder. It's not a mental health disorder. Do we end up with dual diagnosis with mental health disorders? A good majority of us, yeah, because places like the JRC exist. Because we get put through treatments for disorders we don't have. Many people with autism, this is why the cookie cutter method never works, are often treated for traits of autism that they don't have. That was the early years when I first got diagnosed. I went through that until I just one day blew up and lost my shit one day in therapy and told her, quit treating me for symptoms of this particular disability of mine that I don't have. Got a lot done. This is what I mean when I say talk to your doctors. Let them know you are willing to switch doctors until you find one that does listen to you. Don't be afraid of that. The doctor is treating an offshoot of the diagnosis. That's what behavioral psychology does. They're treating the symptoms, not the triggering problem. You're never going to get anywhere with that. You are putting a Band-Aid on a wound that needs to be stitched together. See what I mean? You're not treating us for the correct things. We've got to get out of this mentality. It is 2022. Autism has been considered a developmental disability right now for about around 30 years. It's time the medical community wrap their brains around this concept and quit treating us for things we don't have. Okay? Get with the damn program. It is this type of thing and society's absolute insistence that in order for us to be accepted by them, we must be forced to be exactly like them, become people who we are not and will never really be. And you wonder why we end up on the streets without reasonable accommodations and being met halfway. You wonder why we suffer from physical, mental, emotional pain. It is, by the way, doctor, not caused by self-mutilation, aggression, and destruction, and other harmful behaviors. You want to know where all that comes from? Everything I just fucking mentioned. Everything I just fucking mentioned. All that things you just talked about, those are the triggering issues I've been talking about this whole damn time. And you're not treating them. You're punishing us for having them. Let me say that again. You are not treating us. You're punishing us. That mental exhaustion, that pain, that suffering, and my God, the overwhelming fucking loneliness. I am a very lonely individual. Most of us are. The loneliness, the isolation, the forced fakery we're pushed into, and all the psychological trauma that comes with it is what causes that literal physical, because we know what stress can do to the body, mental, and emotional pain. When that becomes overwhelming, we melt down. And that's where the self-mutilation, what they call aggression, the destruction of inanimate objects, and other harmful behaviors come out. What is my solution? Your kid is out of control, you say? Listen to what I said in the beginning. Let's go back to that, shall we? How do we solve this? It's a big problem. I'm not a moron. I have eyes. We stop with the one-size-fits-all bullshit. We stop the ABA. We stop this concept that we have to be exactly like you in order to be okay. We get rid of this stupid bullshit. We stop treating children for issues they don't even have. We start catering treatment around the individual person, not the disability. because the disability is going to affect each individual who has it differently. That's why treatment needs to be individualized. You start there. You start right there. And you start young. I don't want to see another generation of neurodiverse children with more generational fucking trauma because the medical science can't get its head out of its ass. You all are inflicting trauma on generation after generation after generation because you keep with the cookie cutter bullshit. Start individualizing care. Start person-centered planning early. Early intervention instead of ABA should start person-centered planning. Start building that circle of support immediately. Immediately. Start there. What are the issues? What are the strengths? And let's start focusing on the fucking strengths, not just what you all consider problems and deficits. Is that so much to ask? Do it young. You have no idea how important that is for kids. If all they ever hear about is all the things they can't do or where their problems are, how the fuck do you think that affects their mental health as young kids? Yeah. Okay? I'm going to close out on that. No, actually, I'm not. You want to know about self-mutilation, aggression, destruction, harmful behaviors? Imagine you're one of us and all you fucking hear from the minute you're diagnosed is all the problems you have. And they get listed to you by the daily. It becomes literally the focal point of your entire life is fixing you. Not celebrating your successes as an individual, but only if you manage to act neurotypical for 5 minutes. Imagine that. And you wonder why we're aggressive? You wonder why we're fucking angry? You want to know why we're in pain and have depression at younger and younger ages? Yeah. All right. Now I'll close out. We don't get very many views on this channel, especially on this subject. The few that we do get to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time this morning. And as always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.